guys, it's Sabrina. I hate that I do this every single time. It's like a reaction. Hey guys, it's Sabrina. I am currently cat sitting for my mom, so the setting might look a little bit different. But this week I want to talk to you about Gilmore Girls, or more specifically Rory Gilmore, which for some reason I cannot say her name. I love Gilmore Girls. I've always related to Rory just because she reads books. Have you ever seen Gilmore Girls? Rory has a book in her hands, sometimes like 3 or 4, on her at all times. She's always reading. It's like a big part of her personality because she's smart, so of course they have to get the point across. But no, in reality, I really love Gilmore Girls. I watch it all the time. And for years, I've always wanted to do the Rory Gilmore reading challenge. And I decided that this week, I am house sitting. I have nothing to do but sit around and read, so I might as well pretend to be Rory Gilmore, just a little bit. So if you don't know, basically some really dedicated fan of Gilmore Girls made like a huge list of every single book Rory reads on the show, or every single book she's like shown holding. And there's something like 330 books on this list. So I regret to inform you that I will not be reading 330 books this week. But I did choose 3 that have actually already been on my shelf, so it was kind of a perfect opportunity. So let's just get into that. Oh, Gigi came to visit. Hey Gigi, look. My mom just got 2 new kittens. This is one of them. This is who I'm going to be spending my time with this week. Okay, so the first book I brought with me is Slaughterhouse Five. This is an American classic. I know that it has themes of anti-war. I don't know anything about the plot at all. I just know it's popular, which I feel like is almost a really good way to go into this. And I have been wanting to try it out for a while, so I'm really excited. The next book I chose is Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf. Obviously an incredibly important, incredibly well-known author, writer. And I've never read anything by Virginia Woolf. I have this on my shelves. I didn't even remember that I had it, but it was on the list of the books that Rory has read, so I thought that this would be a great chance for me to read it. And then the last book I have is Isabel Allende's Daughter of Fortune. Please ignore the band practice happening in my basement right now. My boyfriend has informed me that it's Allende, like the 2 L's make a Y sound, so Allende. I'm very sorry, I don't speak Spanish. I'm gonna continue to fuck up for this entire video. This one I was a little bit surprised to see on there because the other 2 are obvious classics, but this one is still, I mean, Allende is still popular because she's a big magical realism author, but I still didn't expect to see it on the list, but it was perfect timing because I just bought this book off a book outlet. Again, I'm hazy on the plot for this one. There's something to do with the gold rush. Of course, the main character is Chilean, just like Allende is. This is a book I'm dying to read. I'm really, really interested in Allende. Allende. And I can't wait to see what I think. And to see like what I think Rory would think. I think I'm gonna start with Slaughterhouse Five though. We've got about 200 pages, I think a little bit under. So I'm gonna get to reading and I'll take you with throughout my week. There's gonna be a lot of kitten footage, I'm sure, so I'll see you guys soon. Oh my god, would you look at that? Oh my god, look at her. That's so precious. Hi guys, I'm back and I'm checking in with Gigi here, who has been keeping me company as I read. I forgot to update you guys yesterday before I went to bed because I was busy. So I am halfway through Slaughterhouse Five. I keep wanting to call it Fahrenheit 451, which makes no sense. Completely different books. It's just the fact that they both have numbers in it that is like mixing me up for some reason. So far I'm liking it. Definitely are strong anti-war themes. This book is inspired by the author's own experiences during World War II, particularly in Dresden. And it follows an American private during World War II named Billy, centering on like when he was captured by the Germans. He's going to experience Dresden, I'm pretty sure, I haven't gotten there yet. But then at the same time, there's a whole subplot where, not subplot, but whatever, where Billy's like traveling through time because he was abducted by aliens. So there's a lot going on here. I'm making it my goal to try to finish this today. However, it's already 5 o'clock, so maybe that won't happen, but we'll see. And I will check back in with my final thoughts. And so will Gigi. Look how sweet she is. Look how perfect and little. You'd never know that she wakes me up like 3 times a night by swatting my face because she wants me to pet her. Like, she's doing it in a sweet way. It's still really annoying though. Okay, bye. Hi guys, I'm back. It's the next day. I keep moving around because I'm just following the kittens. Speaking of which, Boo Boo hasn't gotten much camera time. This is Boo Boo. She's also sweet. She's just a tiny little bit less cuddly than Gigi. So, I finished Slaughterhouse 5 last night. I really liked it. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I really loved the anti-war themes, which I thought I was going to, but it's still a nice surprise to have finished this and really liked it. I love the messages about war being stupid and about like our justifications for it being nonsensical. I love that you didn't know if the main character was like actually abducted by aliens or if it was just like the only rationale his brain had come up with because he had been driven crazy. So many different elements to this. Highly recommend it. I'm going to give it 4 stars. So with that said, I'm going to jump into Daughter of Fortune by Alande. I'm about 50 pages in so far. Can't really tell you the plot yet because nothing's really happened. It's just set up right now. This is the longest of the books though. I think it's about like 500, maybe a little over 500 pages. So we will see how long this takes me. Here's your daily dose of kitten footage though. Gigi's hanging out in the sun. And now they're attacking each other again. So I'm about halfway through Daughter of Fortune right now. I'm not loving it. It's kind of boring. Like I'm halfway through and the plot has just started to pick up pace. So essentially you're following this girl named Eliza, who's a Chilean woman. She was abandoned at birth and then she's adopted by an Englishman and his sister. So you're following her as she grows up and then she ends up falling in love at 16 because of course she does. And then the boy that she falls in love with goes to California during the gold rush and then she's like kind of ruined because she's already had sex. She's just like, there's nothing for me to do here. So then she like sneaks out and escapes and runs away to California. However, I'm over halfway through the book now and she hasn't even gotten to California yet. She's on the ship. Like stuff has really just started to happen. So like it's definitely not a favorite yet. There's also some, I feel like there's this one Chinese character and it feels like the portrayal of him is really stereotypical. And also the book is just kind of boring so far. So I'm hoping to finish it soon. I kind of have to force myself through it. I mean, it's not that bad, but it's just not what I was hoping would be. And I haven't noticed any like magical realism elements yet, which is what I was really excited for Alande. So yeah, I will keep you updated when I finish it. And both the kittens say hi. And we'll see you later. Honestly, like having to kitten sit is just the best thing that's ever happened. Look how cute this is. The kittens are trying to knock over my tripod. This will be fun. I'm here to give you my thoughts on Daughter of Fortune. I think that overall I liked this book in theory a bit more than in execution. There's a brief foreword by the author in the beginning of the novel and she talks about how the story was inspired by the fact that when people talk about the gold rush, they usually talk about white men. And in fact, there are a lot of people who have color who actually went to California before mainly white men came to the gold rush. So there's a lot of like Chileans, there was a lot of Mexicans. There are also some women, but not that many, and most of them were kind of in brothels. So she was kind of trying to tell the perspective of different people in that story, which I really appreciate, and I think it was cool. I learned a lot about the gold rush, which I think is also kind of fun, because I like history. So I was definitely interested in that. I also like the feminist themes of this novel. But I think at the end of the day, it was a little slow going for me. This book is kind of more about the journey than the destination, but that's not something I really came prepared for. Like, honestly, not much really happens in this book, I feel. Like, I'm sure there were things in the plot happening, but it didn't feel like much action was occurring. Also, I expected the writing to be, like, pretty and lyrical, and I don't know why I expected that. It definitely wasn't. It was very matter-of-fact writing. There also wasn't much magical realism in this, so I was a little disappointed. I think I ended up giving it 3 stars though, because I feel like my disappointment is just because I had these expectations for some reason that I don't even really know where I got them from. I would be interested in continuing with this author in the future though, just to read some of maybe her more famous works. I know House of Spears is like a really popular one. So I've moved on from that one to Mrs. Dalloway, the last book I have to read for this challenge. I'm about like, I don't know, a third of the way through. So this book follows Mrs. Dalloway. She's the main character. She's kind of this socialite in London during the 1920s. This book actually all takes place over the course of a single day, so it reads very stream of consciousness, which is kind of off-putting. I'm just not used to that writing style, so it took me a while to adjust. But yeah, it's okay so far. It's only, I think it's under 200 pages, so I should be finished with this within the next couple of hours, and I'll come back and update you with my thoughts on all of these books. I'm back and I've brought a kitten who, oh my god, okay, she's gone now. Okay, I am here to give a quick little wrap up on Mrs. Dalloway and then discuss why Rory Gilmore likes these novels. Okay, so Mrs. Dalloway. Definitely liked this. Stuck between like a 3 and a 4. I'm not 100% sure of my feelings yet. I feel like I need to digest it a little bit first. I really loved the greater discussions in this novel, such as that of mental health, which is really, of course, a huge part of this. I think my favorite thing about this, though, is the commentary on class. You're kind of seeing how nonsensical and really meaningless the lives of many upper class people are. The things that they concern themselves with. That was my greatest takeaway from this. But yeah, let's keep this moving. Now let's talk about what these books say about Rory Gilmore. Starting with the number 1, Slaughterhouse Five. I think obviously they were just trying to make Rory read as many classics and like popular literary fiction as possible to make her seem smart. But let's just take a greater view at it nonetheless. So, this is a very great anti-war novel, incredibly popular science fiction. If the people picking out Rory's books were like actually thinking about anything. This one makes sense for Rory because her character is supposed to be really interested in politics and she wants to be a journalist, which, quick little aside, I don't think that makes any sense for Rory's character at all. Like, I don't know why they didn't try to make her involved in like the book world because that seemed to be her only real interest. Her discussions of politics, it didn't actually seem like she cared about. This is a tangent. But it's almost kind of funny because when you hear Rory's politics in the show, it's kind of just a regurgitation of basic lib Democrat stuff. So like, she praises Hillary Clinton multiple times, which almost makes this novel being in there funnier because this is an anti-war novel. So you would think, based off of how much Rory loves Hillary Clinton, that she wouldn't be anti-war. But overall, I do think this makes sense for the political aspect of it, as well as, of course, its status as a classic. Daughter of the Fortunate, of course, makes sense because it's a very popular, well-known author. This one I feel like is less of a classic than the other two, though. So this kind of goes into like the pop fiction, the way that the Gilmore Girls are both able to reference every single piece of media in existence with these niche jokes that I rarely understand. Moving past that, though, this book has really progressive themes. Like I said in my little wrap-up of it, the author was inspired to tell a different story of the gold rush, like the gold rush from the perspective of people of color and women specifically. The main character is a Chilean woman. There's also another male character who is Chinese who's a main character. So I think the progressive elements of it can also kind of appeal to the character of Rory, as well as the very feminist aspects of this book. If Gilmore Girls is anything on a political spectrum, it's definitely feminist. The degree to which is debatable. I think that for Rory's character, it makes a lot of sense for her to be interested in feminist takes and feminist fiction, which leads me to the last one as well. Well, not as much. I feel like you could make an argument that there's feminist themes in this. For me, that wasn't really a focal point. I think, again, this is a classic. Of course, they're gonna make Rory read Virginia Woolf in the show because it's Virginia Woolf. I think also this book, more than the other two, is a lot more literary. Like, not to downplay the other books, but this one is definitely a book that you read, and as you read it, you're thinking about the deeper underlying themes. Like I said, an exploration of class, an exploration of mental health, an exploration of London after the war and after the pandemic, I think. And then as well, there's also some discussions of being gay in the 1920s. There's very, very light on that, obviously, because it's the 1920s. So I think this book makes sense, not just from like a thematical perspective, but also because it's a book you really think about, which makes sense for Rory, which makes sense for a very studious book nerd kind of character as a whole. But then it's also Virginia Woolf, so you get more of that progressive feminist angle in there as well. I really enjoyed doing this. I kind of want to make more videos like this to tackle the whole Rory Gilmore reading challenge, because I've been wanting to do that for years. I don't know that I want to read every single book on there, because I think some are like children's books, or just nonfiction that I'm not interested in. But I would really be interested in continuing this challenge. I think it would be fun, so maybe I'll have to think about that. But yeah, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and me and the kittens will see you later with another video.